Hey, everybody, this is Jonathan Tripp. Welcome to another episode of Let's Live Stream, the Twitter chat about live streaming. But get this, we live stream the Twitter chat about live streaming. Kind of meta, I know, but you guys get it. I know you do. But anyway, guys, I wanted to welcome you to another episode of our Twitter chat. Let's live stream. Today, we are going to be talking about what is content, but more specifically, what content is actually live content. Because this is a live streaming show. Let's talk about live content. I think it's a pretty good idea. And I hope you guys do too and join with us, okay? But if you guys are just watching us, just getting into it, I'm going to ask you guys, would you do us a favor? Would you introduce yourself? Would you in the Twitter chat, would you guys share a little bit, maybe where your name, maybe where you're even from, if you feel comfortable with that? Because, sometimes that's kind of what we do. So with that, I also want to bring up, how many of you guys remember how to play the game, huh? All right, I say game, it's a Twitter chat, but let's go over just a couple of the rules. It's actually really simple. And the last one is my favorite. And I might even add, I'll just kind of add my own little flair. But guys, this is a Twitter chat. So most of the conversation actually happens on Twitter. But you have to use the hashtag Let's Livestream in each tweet in order for me to be able to see it. Because honestly, Twitter is a very busy place. And unless you use the hashtag Let's Livestream, I'm probably not going to see it right away. The second thing is when you reply to a question, make sure it's a corresponding Q&A. So use an A1 for the first question, A2 for the second question, and so on when you're answering your questions, because I'd love to know which question you're answering, and as well as everybody else that joins in with the Twitter chat. And that brings us to the third one, which is since we do tweet and we do live stream, you guys can follow us on Twitter at Let's Livestream. And even better yet, to keep it simple, you can follow us on Periscope at Let's Livestream. So now, having said that, I also want to bring in the fourth one, which is I hope you're able to learn, have fun, and actually share this with your followers. So if you haven't already, please make sure you do share this out. I know on Periscope, and that's actually what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to check to see what's going on with Periscope. And I got to click on this, and I just want to welcome those people as it comes up. I see Terry, I see Sabrina, I see a bunch of you guys else that is there. And I'm trying to bring up Facebook, because we do have a Facebook group, and we are broadcasting there as well. If I could possibly scroll down like a champ and get over to this. And I see Donna and I see Lottie. Guys, it really is actually really great to see all of you guys. So just make sure that if you can, please share it out. I think it's a great day. This is a really great content for the show. And we have, I think, like a minute or so, but I want to make sure I get over to the Let's Live Stream Periscope so that I can be a part of that too, because I really actually like this. How many of you guys actually really actually share this out? Terry, thank you for the share out. I appreciate it. It's just telling me now. Excellent. All right. So having said that, all right, I think the first question, I don't know, let me just check. Has the first question actually gone out? It's kind of hard to tell sometimes these days. But the first question, and we will kind of hop right into this, because the first question really is, let's just kind of level the playing field here. Okay, question number one rather, is what is live content on social media to you? I know we could all define it a different way, but I think that's really what, in some ways, what makes social media interesting. It's what makes it diverse. What makes it something more than just what one person could write, could create, could draft and publish and things like this. But to you guys, what is live content? And more specifically, what's live content on social media to you? Is it a live stream? Is it an audio? Is it a concert? What is it? I mean, is it just a Twitter chat? I mean, would you consider Twitter chats to be live content because it's something that's happening now? I'm probably getting a lot of I'll probably get a lot of little questions like, John, Twitter chats that's not live content. So anyway, that being the case, then, yeah, so our first question is, what is live content on social media to you? All right, and I hope to be able to catch, and let me see if I can, I'm trying to use a tweet chat today to be able to connect and be able to share. And let's see here. Frameable Faces, I just saw you kind of pop on here. Let me just put my answer, my number one answer out there. I think simply put, live content is when you get the content as it's being made. So if I was to, if that's how I personally do that, that's how I personally, um, I'm gonna define it. So I saw Terry Johnson. She put out. She said it was anything that's not pre-recorded. Sabrina, she loves tweet chat. I do too, when it works. But so not pre-recorded. So what about interviews that are maybe pre-recorded that you add commentary on, right? I mean, so maybe the actual content is pre-recorded, but maybe there's extra commentary. I like that. I like that. That's a nice one, guys. I do want to welcome you. Thank you guys all for watching us in Periscope. I appreciate it, and I love the fact that you guys are there. Stephen Healy, thank you guys for joining us on Facebook. But I do want to make sure that our audience gets our first question, which is, what is live content on social media to you? I think that's the real defining thing. It's, what does it mean to you? How do you define live content? And you guys know I really do like live content. So I think that's, simply put, that's just how I define it. It's you get it as it's being made. It's not something later. It's not something that you pre-craft to the nth degree. It's something you're creating in the moment. Many of you guys don't know this, but I have a background in music, and that was one of the things that we would practice, and we would practice, and we would practice, so that when it comes time for the baton to go down, that's go time. You don't stop and start again. Once you start, it goes and it's ready. And I really like that kind of an analogy when thinking and talking about live content, for live streaming, live audio, those types of things. When it's go time, it's go time. We don't second guess what we're going to be doing. So having said that, let's see here. I'm trying to see if I see anybody else. And you guys, you got to remember that you have to use the Let's Livestream hashtag in order for me to be able to see it. As otherwise, I do miss it. Unfortunately, that is the way it is. So, Sabrina, I love your content, your answer. You say live content can be anything engaging that you share with your audience to teach, inspire, and solve their problems. Oh, to solve their problems. I really like that outward giving aspect of that. Doug Cohen, who is of Frameable Faces, who I don't know, I think I tagged you in a post because I really wanted your input on this today, because sometimes, Doug, you have this ability to see into a topic and then write a blog post about later, and that really messes me up the next day, because now I've got to read another blog post, and you don't always agree with me. So I have to put that out there. But Doug, you say, I think live content means it happens in real time, where a live audience that saw or could have seen it. Very good. I like that. Terry's just catching it. She likes that about me. Nice. You didn't know that. Didn't know that about the music. So, all right. Have we? I want to make sure that I get everybody's comment as far as this goes, because this is the launching point, I think, for the rest of the conversation. And by the way, question 2 just went out, but I want to make sure that you guys do get a chance to really answer number 1. Think about it. See each other's answers, because the second question is, where do you create live content on social media? We talk about being personal. That's the next step. And thank you guys so much for all the hearts and for the comments. I am doing my best to kind of catch with them. Ryan Perez, I see you. Awesome. Thank you. Lindsay Badger, for joining us today. So really, question number 2, where do you create live content on social media? I have my personal preferred places, and not just content in general, because I mean, we can make blog posts and we can do podcasts and things like this, but we're talking specifically about live content. Where do you create live content? And this is really a great topic, because here's a little hint. This is a chance for you to kind of maybe brag about yourself a little bit, tell a little bit about everybody. Like, I'll tell you, I know this kind of messes with my definition, but we just started this past week, or about a week and a half ago now, doing a podcast on Anchor. And we'll talk a little bit about that maybe later on, but this is a chance for me to tell you, hey, you can go over to Anchor and you can listen to some of the content I put out there. It's recorded live. So there you go, Terry. Hey, thanks for answering, Terry. Says you create content on Facebook and Periscope and Anchor and Rabbit and Fire Talk. Hell yeah, that's right, Fire Talk. You're on Fire Talk, aren't you? Very interesting. Is there anybody out there that uses Twitch? Does anybody actually use Twitch as part of, or some of the places that you create content? I know there's a number of brands that are doing that or have done that. That'd be very interesting. So, all right. Oh, she forgot about smile time. Oops. Nice catch there. Nice catch. I know a good handful of you guys do use Facebook Live video as a place to create your content. Some of you guys are using the Facebook Live audio. Some of you guys are using only apps like a Periscope. I think that's really interesting. It's a really interesting dynamic, because that's very different to me than, say, like using your Facebook fan page to be able to go live. Some people prefer to use one because that's where their audience is, and that's an important part of these kind of conversations, I think. And I don't know if Jen. Oh, and I forgot. I have number 5 rules for today's chat, and I didn't update it. But rule number 5 is, if you come on camera, you have to smile. And I didn't know, Jen, are you able to come on today and tell us maybe a little bit of where you go live? Because I know you have a number of things, and if Jen doesn't, I will see how Jen's doing with this. There we go. Rule number 5 accomplished. Check mark.
You have to dig that in. I didn't see that actually on the Let's Live Stream rules.
It was okay. It's right below the screen. Cut it off. It's just one of those things that I forgot to verbally bring out. But Jen, you go live in a number of different places, and I wanted to make sure you had a chance to really talk about a couple of the places that you go live.
Yeah. I think the better question for a lot of people, especially our viewers here, is where don't you go live? And you had mentioned Twitch. I have gone live a couple of times on Twitch. I really enjoy it. I know that our friend Eileen Smith had a very different experience than I've had, and Alfredo Tigolo have had on Twitch. She used the mobile platform, and it's a little bit different. I think it attracts a different audience, even though you're going to the same places. I think it's a different algorithm, but I've really enjoyed that. And I have gone live numerous times on Facebook Live from a fan page and a personal page, and then live audio. Of course, Periscope. This is where I started. I started on Periscope when I was lucky if 2 people watched me. Lucky. And they were all my friends.
Sometimes we all feel like that, well, if I can go live on Periscope and have more than one person that I know personally visit, then maybe that Periscope's a success. I know we all start out there, but it doesn't always have to be like that. Especially when I don't know, Perry Girls is a very good example. Our guest from last week, I mean, that's how it started. What Joanne was saying, it was like 3 people. It was her and like 2-3 other people, and they just kind of got together and they thought this would be a great idea. Now 10,000 plus people later, she's got 15 million hearts on Periscope. I don't know. I think she's doing all right.
I think she does all right as well.
Because she knows the power of the community.
Yeah, Absolutely. I would challenge anybody out there in the audience today. Where don't you go live? There's
Mm.
probably more places that you go live, the standard ones that we all know and love, but there's a couple of outliers out there that are like live.me or live.me.
Lively. Yep.
Yeah.
I
And
personally don't use You Now.
you
I don't
know.
use that.
Uh,
I've known a couple of people from that now that are now I see them more on Facebook.
yeah. What about Busker? Anybody go live on Busker? I know a
I know a
few,
couple people.
few of us do. I've gone once or twice. I've gone live on Busker once or twice. What about go live with? Remember that one?
Live, yeah.
Yeah, where David Vaughn tried to insert himself as a wine expert, and that's the only reason why I went on that platform. I was like, no, 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 David Vaughn, you and your
Well,
$3 owl wine, you do not get
yeah,
to be the wine expert on there.
that is pretty
No,
funny.
that's
Um,
cool.
with that because I think that's one of the things that live streaming is able to do for us or to us rather. It puts us in front of people, and I don't know. David's probably more of a wine expert than I am. Maybe. No, no, he's not. No, he's not. I want to
No,
quote
he's
on
not.
that. No, no, he's not.
No, he's
But I
not.
think when it comes to, and I saw Frameable Faces that they said we don't go live on Twitch because they feel that it's mainly for gamers. And here's a hint: we are probably going to be talking about that in a coming show, a lot more in depth. Okay, Jen, this is like it's one of the really important things that Jen wants to talk about. But I really do think it gets a lot of. I think there's a lot of stereotypes that we're fighting when it comes to that, as what Twitch is, and mainly a lot of people like think about what it's not. So I do think that it's something that might be coming close to the end of the month because we have some guests coming up too. But
Okay.
Jen, I think question number 3. Man, I like this. I like this fast format. Question number 3. Can we just do question number 3 and then we'll do it. So question number 3, I know it's already launched out there. What places or what place does stories have in live content? And you guys know when I talk about stories. And Sabrina, I saw your comment about going live on Instagram, and I want to save my comment for that when it comes to stories for now. Okay, because what place do stories have in your content repertoire where you want to go live? And to be honest, I actually don't really think of stories, and stories are those Snapchat really kind of made them famous. Okay, they're the ones where you record short, maybe 10-second clips, and they go up on the social media site. So it could be Snapchat, now it's Facebook Messenger, Facebook Day, Instagram stories, and things like that. WhatsApp has a version. I mean, and there are a number of them. But I think that I don't think those stories are actually really, they're not real live content. Okay. But they do bridge the gap between live content, like a live video, like what you're watching here on Periscope, and a more traditional post. And if you can imagine that, I'm using the word traditional when I'm talking about social media. That's how ingrained social is now. But I think stories bridge that gap where it's in the moment content available for you to see for a limited amount of time. And usually it's about 24 hours. Now, Sabrina, I want to get back to what you were saying that you also go live sometimes on Instagram. And I really like Instagram. I don't know if you guys know that or not. Um, but I like the way that it keeps me in touch with a very wide variety of people that I don't otherwise feel that I would be able to connect with on Facebook or even on Twitter, especially on LinkedIn. We don't even want to talk about LinkedIn today as far as video and live content because they've let me down big time. So, but I would say this. When it comes to live content versus stories is that stepping stone that gets you in there. Terry Johnson, I really like your comment, your answer to question number 3. Terry Johnson answers, stories let you share mini moments of live content. I like that, really. I like that, mini moments. And so I think that's something that each one of you guys can share. And a lot of people feel that when it comes to stories, that it's just another thing that they have to do. But if you use stories as maybe a compliment or a lead up or maybe even as not really an outro. That's not really in a correct way I want to say it, but in a way that that helps close out and reminds people, hey, we just did a live video. You might want to check it out while it's still kind of fresh in everybody's mind. Um, I'm trying to catch up on some of the comments I've seen. Oh man, you guys are killing it on Facebook today. Man, you guys are doing it. Nazim, thank you for joining. He says not live. Stories are not live. So he says nope. You still love Facebook Live, still the winner in his book. So Nazim, that's where you create your content, but it's definitely not the same as stories. It's not live content and stories. It's not the same to me. It's not that that similar thing. So I love saying that. Now I do want to just take a quick moment, and this is your cue, Jen. I do want to take a quick moment though and say, guys, thank you so much to VitMug. VitMug actually puts the show together from the graphics to the outline, which is fantastic. So we can all follow it. Being able to put, make sure the tweets are going out and we're able to share it on and connect with the followers. And by the way, so I really want to say, if you guys haven't already, please make sure you follow VitMug either on Facebook or on Twitter. And you guys will catch some of the updates. And it's really kind of it's the next thing, if you will. I don't know. That was probably a horrible lead in, and I'll probably get yelled at for that one. But when you ad lib it, you just say what you want to. Guys, we have question number 4 coming up. I do want to check over to make sure, see if I see anything on a Periscope, which I don't. I don't see if you guys are on Periscope with it. Okay, so if Periscope went down, then I don't know if you can relaunch it or whatever, but I know it's live on Facebook. I'm actually watching it here live on Facebook, trying to catch your guys' comment. Lottie, thank you so much for all of that. But we are going to be coming up on question number 4, and I'll just kind of get into it as it's being launched out on Twitter. And I do want to say this: how could live let me try that again. Question number 4: how could live audio how could you use live audio as a bigger part of what you listen to or what you watch? And I know it sounds like live video watch, live audio watch, but how many of you guys actually kind of do that as part of your the sequence, the things that you do in the day? I know that now with this new Anchor app, I actually just set my mobile phone up, my cell, and I have it run through a number of the podcasts that I favorite or that I listen to on the app, and it makes it so much easier. And I actually do that with I can do that a little bit with YouTube, where it'll play a series, or Facebook kind of does it, but it auto feeds it. And that, I think that's really my point, is that where I'm not necessarily having to sit there and watch the video the whole time, but I can have it playing in the background with YouTube. So I really do want to know, it's like, how could you guys use how could you guys use live audio, and how could it play a bigger part to what you guys are watching, what you guys are listening to, and things like that. Excellent. And if you guys are back on Periscope, would you just do a quick favor? I'm actually going to do that right now. I'm actually just going to go in real quick, and I'm going to refresh and share out the app. But I did see a good handful of you guys share out some of your questions for some of your answers for 4. And remember, though, if you guys are watching this and you guys are participating in the Twitter chat, please make sure you use the hashtag Let's Live Stream, and just let me know also what question you guys are answering to. So I do see some answers here. Let me see if I can grab them. Hashtag Mafia, great. That's a great Twitter handle. Hashtag Mafia says, I'd listen to live audio if I was driving more. See, I do it. I just put headphones in, and I'm able to use that app, and I like that app to be able to do that. So let me share out the broadcast. Share. Perfect. All right. So I think, let me see if you guys have put out your questions. So put out your guys' answers yet. I'm going to check in Facebook too. Nazim, you actually ask a really good question. It's one of the questions that I like to ask pretty frequently because I see a lot of people generating content and things like this. And it's how many folks here have a podcast? I know I've started one. It's not a 5 day a week. It's, I said, I think on the outset, it's about 3 or 4 times a week. I'd like to put out some content. I've kind of started warming up to it. But I put it up on SoundCloud and on Anchor, and that's just where I'm comfortable. I like that. It seems like a really kind of a fun place to be able to put it, and you guys are able to watch it and interact with it, share it out as much as you guys. And I like the Anchor part because then you guys can add and reply to certain points and things like that. So,
I
oh,
love
hey,
that there's like conversation that's going on Periscope, and there's conversation that's going on Facebook right now. And Doug on Periscope is talking about podcasting is not live. And yes, in the traditional sense, podcasting is this edited, remixed, produced, and pre-recorded kind of content. But Doug also asked, what
Mhm.
is live audio? And if you haven't gone on Facebook to give it a try, Doug or Allie, whoever's behind the scenes, go give it a try. I personally really like it. I like that it complements, at least Facebook Live, complements my live streaming repertoire. I have an
Mhm.
opportunity to not have to worry about what I look like and what's going on, and that I'm visually providing some content. And I don't always love to be on camera all the time, but I
Mhm.
oftentimes have something to say because I'm just opinionated.
No, and Jen, you really bring up, that's a really good point of the podcast or that live audio part, because you're able to really focus just on your words, and it's not well, my hair isn't right, or my lighting isn't right, or my camera angle. It really kind of skips a lot of that stuff, and it gets right into the, look, I have something to say and I have an opinion and I want to say it and share it. And it kind of, maybe it takes down a lot of the distractions.
Yeah, it does.
I actually think I'm actually really enjoying it. I think it's very fun.
I do
A lot,
too. I think it's
a
put a
lot
little
more
bit of
fun
the
than I
fun
thought.
back into live streaming, where it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
about perfection, and it wasn't about
Mm-hmm.
within myself. I want my visual live streams to be as good and as enriching as possible, and that's my own qualms, my own hang
Mm-hmm.
up. But I would even challenge anybody that talks about live streaming. If you're a speaker and you're talking about live streaming, or if you have a course and you're talking about live streaming, challenge your audience to talk about or go live on audio first. Geez,
Mm-hmm.
how easy is it to really go live on audio before you make that next step? And we always talk about, there's people in the Live Talk Nation group that always
Mm-hmm.
talk about just go live. Just give it a try. Go live to yourself and your family, or you and one other friend. Well, here's another alternative to make it even a step easier.
Right. And that's where doing just the live versus the live with the audio, or the video with the audio, it really just make it super super simple and straightforward. So yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, if you have a podcast, put it in there. If you're on Facebook, that'll link it out. If you're on Twitter, just tag us in it, and I'd love to connect with that. So
Yeah. And Anchor
um,
too, as everybody is learning about
yeah.
Anchor
Hmm.
and exploring it and giving it a shot. I know Nazim, I feel like I get a daily update from Nazim because I'm following him on Anchor, and I
Sure.
really I really enjoy listening to Nazim. Like, he has the right soothing voice that
Hmm.
just makes
Right.
you want to hear and fall in love with Italy, and I think that's why he
Right.
does so well.
Rudy Ellis on Periscope um, was asking, he's like, hey, I've never used the audio. Is it like a conference, or is it just like podcast? It's like a live stream audio instead of video. Just take the video component, throw it out. What you're saying gets translated straight into the video, and you can put up a show card, or I think it
A
kind of gives
picture.
you some kind of a blurry, it's just like a blurred, just a background image, so that you do get some of they did a really good job. It's actually very interesting to see that. So
I
um,
wanna I wanna wish Rudy Rudy, happy belated birthday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And anybody that's out there on Periscope and Facebook, wish Rudy a happy birthday because him and his company, Switchboard Live, are one of our great partners here, and we really appreciate that software for getting this live stream out there. So,
Huh.
happy belated birthday.
Well, we are at that
Uh
point
oh.
where we have question number 5. It's already out. Yeah, I know, right? Like I can't, well, sometimes I can't believe it. But guys, I do want to ask you guys number 5, question number 5. What's stopping you from using the live audio or using it maybe more? I know for me, it really is it's more of the question of um do I have something that I feel is meaningful to say? Because it's when it comes to things like live content of like your videos, you can put up a graphic of something silly or something. It's kind of, it'll just kind of distract you or kind of maybe pull your eye away while you're while you're talking, or kind of maybe even like while you're stalling or including something else. But when it comes to audio podcasting, dead silence is a killer, and it's, to me, it's crazy. So what is stopping you from using live audio more? For me, it's making sure that I really actually have something to say or something that I feel is meaningful. Um, so I mean, I think that's the real crux of it. I know some people feel that it's because they say, oh, we don't have enough equipment, um, like our microphone isn't, we don't have a good enough microphone, or I don't know how to I don't know how to audio edit, or I don't really know that I have a following there. So, and how could I do it once I start? And there's a lot of, I want to say, dare I say it like this, excuses for it. But that's why I like Anchor. Okay. And it has been under a reboot. And I know I keep coming back to it, but my real point is what Anchor is doing is making it easy, in the same way that Periscope was very easy to use. You just turn your phone on and you can go live with just a few clicks of the button. And Anchor does very much the same thing for audio. And I don't think I would build an entire business on Anchor, but I would definitely say this: it's a very fun place to learn about new people, to listen to what they have to say, and to be able to interact with people that maybe you wouldn't be able to because of the noise of another platform. So what's stopping you? I don't know. Many think it takes a lot of practice or time to do audio, but really it's actually quite a bit fun. So I give you guys a little bit of a challenge to do that. And by the way, guys, if you haven't already, go over to Anchor, or find a podcast that you guys do like to listen to. Share it out. Oftentimes, I think that a lot of that kind of content gets lost because it's not quite as popular, or it's not so visually, in the world that is a lot of live video content's being pushed out. A lot of live audio gets lost. Sabrina does say she prefers the video. It adds your face and expressions. It connects you more with her audience, and that's a really great point. And sometimes distinguishing the two, I know that, like, it does take a little bit sometimes to kind of get yourself up and in front of the camera. But there are people that really like audio, and there are definitely some people that really prefer and do really well with video. So play to your strengths, and I think it really just comes down to meet your audience where they're at. So let's see here. I don't know. Let me check to see if the next question has gone out. And I think we had a lot of answers come back for answer 5, and I will see if I can't get to them. But question 6, as it's going out, I am gonna I'll just read it to you. Question number 6: what are the most important parts of a live broadcast? Now, I mean it in the broadest sense possible. Live broadcast. Do you mean video? Do you mean audio? Do you mean something else in between? Do it. Whatever it is for you. Whatever it is to you. So I know that I have an answer. And to me, honestly, I think some of the most important parts of a broadcast, and I choose to answer it this way. I think the intros and outros are some of the most important part of the broadcast, because the intro is what gets you in. And if you're interested and you hear that intro and you say, man, that's a really good content, or that's a really good topic, I really like that, you're probably going to stick around. And the outro, that's what helps. Oftentimes, I think that's very neglected in a broadcast, because it can be short or it can be long. But you remember, I'm going to tell you this from right now, from doing a lot of different kinds of speaking around, a lot of different performances, and definitely, I would say, a few live streams. The outro is what seals the deal. For those that are watching, or people want to skip to the end, they get that summary, they get the call to action, and then they get the part that says, join us again next time. And when an outro is done well, it really sums up. It's like the bookends for a broadcast. And so the intro and the outro, I feel, are some of the most important parts. Let's see here. So who else?
So
Oh,
do
Jen.
do you feel that way because you did an amazing outro for Jonathan Trip Live, where there was some drone footage and recognition for all the people in Live Talk Nation? I mean, I'm just trying to get to the root of why you really feel the outro is that important.
I think it works. The reason why I say that is because I think it works with podcasts. It works with live video, periscopes, blabs from back in the day. I mean, when there was no video editing, there was no, you didn't do any of that stuff. It was on or not.
Yeah.
And I like that aspect. And I do feel that the intros and the outros are super important.
Well, I'll
So,
compliment that. I mean, because not everybody, when we're talking about live streaming, or maybe not compliment, maybe I will take another angle, because not everybody that does live streaming even thinks about an intro and an outro. I think at the core of live video, there's great content, there is engagement, and there is authenticity. So those are some of the things for me that really make or break a live video or live content, period, because
mhm.
that's what the magic is about live. You don't know what's going to happen. If somebody sneezes, you're going to watch it. If somebody falls out their chair, if there's a kid that comes in, that's all live content. And if you have good content, if you have the engagement, and if you have the authenticity, I think that's kind of some of the secret sauce.
Hmm. I do too. I think it really, when done well, you don't feel, well, that was the intro.
That's true.
And oh, well, there's the outro. I mean, you sense it, but it feels like it's part of the content. And when it's jarring and set apart, I don't think it serves the content well, week to week or from episode or installment, whatever you want to call it. And Jen, I know a lot of this perspective is taken more from the small to mid-size business, or a solo broadcaster, from more that personal perspective, not necessarily from a big corporate perspective, of, well, how are we going to reach our, they operate in a very different realm than I think a lot of us, when we're talking person to person, or one to, I would say, a fairly small audience, say, I don't know, less than 50,000 people, right? um but when we get to these parts, I think that understanding that there's a flow, that there are different aspects to it, are really important. I mean, Wine Antics does a good job with the intro part, as well as then after the majority of the content, just helping people see that there's a close to the show, that there's and that there's something coming up next.
Yeah.
And I know you craft it that way, and you take a lot of time. I know, because I help produce your show, but you know I know that. But I'm just saying, like, in all reality, watching your show and seeing it consistently week in and week out, you do pick up on it.
I'm glad. I'm glad because that is whether you're doing it the one to many, which is on your mobile, or whether you're doing it produced, you have to think of live streaming as any essay you would write. And I
Hmm.
always think of an essay as a hamburger. So you have your intro and your conclusion as the bun, and then you have all of the meat and the good hearty parts in the middle. But if you don't have that bun to secure that content, to secure that middle part, you're kind of You're like, I don't know what to do with this. Even the gluten free, everybody that's gluten free, they have the lettuce to wrap around. So I mean, I'm trying to bring it into the reality. I'm trying to bring it into the 21st century. My hamburger essay
Hmm.
analogy.
Excellent. That's always excellent.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes.
Donna actually answered.
Mhm.
I feel as the name of this. I feel that it's the name of the stream is one of the most important parts. So I feel the name of the stream is one of the most important part.
Mhm.
It brings you in, and I agree, Donna. Having a really great catchy title can really improve and bringing people into your live stream, as well as having a good graphic and even like a good snapshot. Or you know how sometimes Facebook will capture that one moment where you look like you're just about to sneeze, and that's
Mhm.
what stays permanently there. Yeah, that's ruined a couple of my streams, I'm not even gonna lie.
Mhm. Yep. Absolutely. And so to her, naming that stream that's a really important part. I remember back in the day with Periscope when that first image is what stuck.
Yeah.
That was the so we would go through quite a process to make sure that we got the perfect intro, capture. So we would either point it at our screens, or we'd have, we it'd be like a freeze frame, or we'd put our little notes up on the screen. We would do all these sorts of
I
things
did.
trying to be interesting to set us apart. But that was a personal level.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring up question number
Oh,
7
did you?
in
Oh, okay, give me
because
one
it
second.
deals with the other flip side of this. Question number 7 is, do you feel that brands are using live streaming the right way?
Hmm.
Do you,
I'm
do you
working on
want
it.
to do you
I'm
have any
working on it,
examples?
okay?
No, I was asking if you felt that there were some brands that were doing it the right way. Um, so one of the things that, like, I mean, we can always think of some of these, when we think of like brands that are really using live streaming in a right way. We think honestly, one of the first brands that I can think of is Adobe, where they have experts or really well established artists using their product live on their YouTube or on their Twitch channel. And from what I understand from you, Jen, I think that you were saying that Adobe's not going to be doing this anymore on Twitch, which is kind of sad. But I will say this: I guarantee you, they're still going to be doing something on. It's probably just going to be on their YouTube channel, but when it comes to big brands or larger businesses using this, GoPro is one, Adobe is another of actual businesses that are using live stream in a very engaging, very embracive way to get their audience to watch their stuff. Do you have any examples, Jen?
I actually saw, I've more recently started to pick up on bigger brands using live streaming, which is always encouraging to see, because then there's like an up down effect to this. So you got the little everybody who's trying live streaming, and they're trying it, and then the big brands take hold of it, and then they're on the downhill swing. There's more little brands that have some confidence in it. So today, Amazon is doing Amazon Job Day. And I shared this to the Live Talk Nation page, that they have a couple different locations where they're doing on the spot hiring. And now they are getting to control their brand image and their brand message by sending somebody around, like a news reporter, to talk to the people that are in line for Amazon Job Day, to talk about the process, to talk about their benefits, talk about what it's like to be an employee at Amazon. What an amazing way now big brands, little brands, and still individuals have a way of creating their own news, right? Creating their own brand message and not waiting for mass media to pick up on their one little story. Well, if they've got an audience, they can craft their own message.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And
also one other example, and then we can jump into that. Wounded Warrior Project. I watch lots of
mhm.
different ways the military is using it, because you've got. I'm a veteran, so I have a different perspective than a lot of people, but there is an element to crafting a certain message about our military in both a national sense and an international sense. And I love to see individual units that are sharing their ceremonies via live video. And then the
Mhm.
Wounded Warrior program is kicking off like this great IT initiative
Mhm.
that they're sharing it international and allowing the program to grow and help a ton of veterans get jobs. So I'd love to see bigger brands do it.
Right. And it's when it comes to like these bigger brands, they really are asking a different question than can I. It's really should I? Should I put that much effort into it? Should I,
Right.
more than just saying like, well, just let the intern handle that. Thankfully, thankfully. And I think because of that, it takes a little bit more. It takes a little bit more effort than just say, well, somebody, hello, do we have any volunteers that would like to go live in the office this week? You pick whatever you want to talk. And big brands, they know that they can't afford to do that, both because of integrity in terms of what the quality of it, and that they want to make sure that the message going out actually reflects that. But I don't really think that a lot of big brands really understand how to use it and use it very consistently. And so I think that a lot of them skip it and they just don't see the real value in the long term for it.
I wish I could speak as a big brand, but I mean, this is I think that's a great statement. What do you guys think out there in Facebook and on Twitter? What do you think? How are brands doing it? Are they doing it right? Do they understand the value of live stream? I mean, we're kind of a biased community right here. Like we do live streaming. We're working in the industry. We're building this community out. And we may be a little bit biased, but what is your perception of brands, and are they doing it? Are they doing it right? I'd
Mm-hmm.
love to hear. I'd like to say that they're starting to creep in and see the value, that there is so much potential, but it also takes a lot of creativity, right? This is another piece of content. Not only is it static, it's not just text, it's not just graphics, it's not just video, but it's live video. So I think they're always going to be the slowest to adopt.
Right. They are, because they're bigger. They've got bigger brands. They have more working pieces, and they feel that the bigger they are, the more complicated it's going to be.
Yeah.
So why not? I mean, enough is good, more is better, right? Let's. But I
Well,
don't
plus
really.
it costs money,
I'm
and
just.
time is money.
Yeah, it totally is. And I also, real quick, I was seeing in the chat. I see Rachel Moore is popping in on her way to Ohio.
Yay.
Thank you, Rachel, for stopping in today. Um, so I don't know. Do we? Yeah. Okay. Question number 8 did pop out. I'm trying to keep up with the Twitter chat, but did I miss one? I think I missed one. No, I didn't miss a question. Okay. So question number 8: do you plan your live content to be used for replay? Come on, be honest here. Do you plan on it? Do you actually think of your live content in terms of, look, if I make this content, can I use it for can I use it on for somewhere else? Maybe make it into an audio podcast. Maybe use it on as a promo reel for something else you've done, or turn it into. I mean, I know, don't hate me too much here, but turn it into a webinar, something that has maybe some value, or something like that. Maybe write a blog post about it. I don't know. I guess that's right. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. What do you guys where do you guys use your live chat? Do you actually plan your live content to be done that way? Terry says, I don't, but I edit it for replay when I do remember it. I love it. No, that's a really great point. Because oftentimes when we get into when it's a smaller operation, meaning you don't, I don't know, let's just say you have like 30 people in your office, you have like $100 million just in your marketing. You're kind of like, well, I will get to that when I get to it. And it's not that we don't care; it's we just have to prioritize our time. But that's what it is. I would suggest, and maybe even in challenge you, that as you're planning your content, think about what replay or how to repurpose it. You don't have to repurpose it the same way every time, but maybe when you decide that you're going to do a live piece of video or something, even like a live audio, that that you do turn it into something else. And put it on your blog site. Make a blog post about it, but make sure it's adding value. It's not just another piece of content that you put out, because I don't really think that serves anybody well. Terry says yes, time management. So Sabrina says in her case, always she says always not only for replay but also for repurposing in many different ways. It's a time saver, and you really do bring up a really good point there, Sabrina. It's not just how do I repurpose it for another platform, but putting it together for a replay. And I think you're getting into our question number 9. We'll get there when that time comes. But one, I do want to just take a short little break, and I'm switching it up on Jen because she's so good at what she does. 2 things. One, if you guys do, please do make sure you guys do follow us on Periscope, things like that. You guys can watch us on Periscope over at letslivestream.live. But a lot of the behind the scenes in our one of the tech supporters that we have, one of them is I'm waiting for the graphic to come up when she does it. It's one of them is Switchboard, and we saw Rudy earlier today on the Periscope. We really do appreciate just being able to work with them, use their products, user services, guys. I really can't tell you enough. They have a really great layout, really great system. And I'd just encourage you guys to go on over there. And if you do have questions, give them a shout. They're usually pretty good about getting back to you. So, all right, how are we all doing? I'm checking over on Facebook. All right, I do get to see you guys over there. See a number of you guys kind of chatting it up. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's actually.
Jen, what do you got to say? What do you have?
You're not going to trip me up behind the scenes. You do know that I wait for you to preface before I click.
I know you've got them all laid out.
And if you don't know, I'm behind the scenes. That's why I'm only popping in every couple of minutes or so. I'm behind the scenes pushing the buttons as part of VitMug, and I love doing this every week, honestly. Jonathan knows I was in a grumpy mood before I came on live today, and more often than not, it just takes going live to put you in a completely different frame of mind. And I see Ryan Perez and Carlos Phoenix over on Facebook are having a great discussion about brands and how they are using live streaming or they're not using live streaming. And I appreciate the comments over there. I appreciate hearing you guys because you've had a lot of interactions, number one, doing live and producing live content on a high level and how you're interacting with brands. I always like watching what Carlos Phoenix does with the real estate. It's such an interesting industry and such a growth industry for live streaming. So just wanted to shout out to them and thank you everybody for coming back on Periscope, because I've learned a nifty little trick. Every about 20 minutes we kind of have an interruption.
Yeah. That was live.
It's live, right?
It was live.
It's live.
I'll make a t-shirt that says "So is live."
Oh, that's good. That's you better brand that real quick.
Right.
Get a website up. So let's see. So this is probably where I one of these rules where you what the doctor says, but you don't actually follow it. When it comes to live stream content, I know better. I know how to repurpose. I know what I should be doing, when I should be doing, and how I should be doing it. I've created strategies around it. I'm just not very good at doing it for myself.
Well, then it's the discipline of doing it, and it really is. And sometimes that's all it takes. And maybe joining a community and having accountability and finding other people that support you in it so you don't feel like you're alone every day, which is how a lot of solo entrepreneurs or small business owners feel. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Maybe there's a challenge for it.
Maybe there's a challenge. Maybe you can go over to livetalknation.com. That'll put you into a group that has a 31 days live challenge going on. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. If you haven't gotten all the hints that all these things are happening, there's all types of challenges.
It's just dropping left and right. We don't even know what to do. It's all there. But Jen, before you go, I want to ask you a question.
Oh no.
You ready?
No.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Are you ready for this?
Let's go. Bring it
Jen,
on.
do you think that watching live video on replay, do you still consider it to be live video?
I feel a setup. I
It's
feel a
question
setup.
number 9 in the Twitter chat.
Oh, is it? Oh,
It
okay.
is. But I wanted to ask you while you're live,
Before
because
I
because everybody's answering.
Okay. It's true, and I don't always get a chance to answer. So do I feel like replay is live content? Hmm. I feel like it loses one of the elements. Actually, I feel like it loses two of the elements for me. So when I talked earlier, what are the elements of live content, and that's authenticity, engagement, and good content. It never loses good content, right? Because it's out there, and if you're live streaming, and if I'm watching you, I think that you have good content, and I appreciate what you're putting out there. But it loses the engagement, and it loses the authentic. Well, maybe it doesn't lose the authenticity, maybe just one. Maybe it loses one of the factors. And I really want all three factors before I will consider it live content. I want that engagement. And I think there's a lot of people out there that would agree that engagement is that crux. It's that turning point of what is just video and what is live video or what is live audio in the same regard. If you can't respond to what I'm saying, like if I say something powerful that moves you and you guys throw up a bunch of hearts on Periscope, that's engagement. Or I recognize that Sabrina said something very similar earlier on in the chat, that engagement is all about this. Like that is the magic of live, and why so many people are relating to it.
No, it that really is. And I had kind of, in thinking about this, I had, it's like like that saying, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, does it still make a sound? And I mean, so if, there's a live video and no one's there to watch it on the replay, is it still a live video? I mean, that's how I feel about it. That's what I'm thinking about.
What was
And I
what
know
was the
I'm
other when we were talking about? What else did I say? What is your attention span for? Gosh, I can't even remember anymore. I'm gonna have to remember that. I'm gonna have to put that up on.
you tweet that out. You tag me in that. I'll give you a good video reply.
I'm sure you will.
So Jen, unfortunately, we're right at the very end of our installment, our Twitter chat today. I know a bunch of everybody, they're still kind of chatting it up, both in the Facebook group, as well as on Twitter today. And I'm trying to make sure, I'm trying to see if I scan up and if I see anybody, but I do want to make sure if you guys do have any questions, make sure you tag us in it. Whether it's me personally or if you just tag Let's Livestream, be able to answer and things like this. But I do want to say thank you everybody for joining us today. This was awesome. I love doing this. I love this fast pace. Just adding one more question in the mix. It really felt like I can't believe it feels like I've been on for like 10, 15 minutes, but we've been on for almost an hour. And I really want to say thank you guys for spending that time, or at least most of the time, with us. I really do appreciate it. And I love coming back week after week. We do have some fun topics coming up in the next little bit. And next week we have a new topic, and this is something that's this is one of that first threshold. No, it's actually the second threshold for me, and that's talking a little bit about Blab. But guys, this is not going to be a cry fest. I'm just going to tell you right now, this is not a I wish I missed the old days. Is not one of those. You know what? I want to know, if you were on Blab and we met on Blab, I want you to reply back to me, send me a message, because I want to talk about next week, where are they now? And this was just a bigger conversation of, guys, where have we been? Because it's been about a year, give or take. It's been about a year since Blab shut down. And it really, we cannot deny the positive impact that Blab had on a lot of our live streaming lives and the way that it brought us together. And I want to take a time not to mourn over that, but to actually celebrate the fact of how many people and who we met, and maybe how it's changed our lives, or maybe even changed our businesses, and what it's done. So guys, that's our topic for next week. And if you met us on Blab, or if you saw us on Blab or something like that, or even if you were on Blab, would you just reply or just hit and let me know, put it in the comments or reply on Twitter, or something like that. Tag me, so that I want to make sure that I'm going to try to hit as many of of the people and connect with them for a next week's show as I possibly and humanly possibly can. Because guess what? You guys really do matter as part of the community, and let's live stream just for the Twitter chat, but also in live streaming in general. And then as you guys have all become part of Live Talk Nation and really made that community something great. So guys, that's what our show is for next week. So do make sure that you do go over to letslivestream.com, sign up for our email list. You're going to get a recap of today's show, and you're also going to get notified of next week's show because that's going to happen again next week, Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And guys, I really do hope to see you there. Thank you.